What came to mind immediately when you said challenging cooking is, like I said, I'm not a trained chef, and here you're thrown onto Top Chef amateurs. Uh, just to let you know, people out there, it is not scripted. It's just whatever you say happens is happening. They just film you.
I love that, though. I love when it's not scripted. I like to hear that. That's great.
Sure, yeah, that's a good news. But when it's happening to you,
It's not good.
it's nerve-wracking.
Life gets tough, and I know it's hard to cope with the unknown. For all of us, I know it'd be easy if we were perfect, but we're not. So we go to find our faith, to find our hope. It all begins with looking up. It all begins with you. It's time to elevate. We sing it loud and proud. We make our voices known. Nothing can shut them out. Elevate. Shout it for you and me. We can do anything. It's time to set us free.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Ann Lucenti, and it is time to elevate. I am super excited to introduce you to my special guest today. We have a little bit of history together. In 2012, we met online. And I mean physically standing online on a very long audition line. We were there so long that we had no choice but to become very good friends. And actually, I'm really thankful for that long line now. Before I introduce him, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's an American film, commercial, and voice actor. He also has his hands in producing and casting various projects. In 2023, he was quoted by saying he is honored to be part of the Disney family with his role in director Justin Simien's reboot, Disney's Haunted Mansion. That opened in July of 2023, and it was really awesome, and it's available to stream now. But that's not all. Here's a fun fact. He is also known for the Epicurious cooking shows, Epicurious 4 Levels, and Pro Chef versus Home Cook. So I'm hoping he comes to my house and helps me cook. That would be awesome. These went viral on YouTube overnight with millions of views, some as high as 53 million views, and it doesn't have any signs of stopping. This led to opening the doors to all types of endeavors, such as cooking competitions. And in 2021, he won the inaugural season of Top Chef Amateurs. He's also a prolific actor, a trade he admits he fell into accidentally when he was asked to audition for a commercial because of his cooking knowledge. But it was his kid-like approach and his knife skills that helped him get cast as a chef on his first commercial back in 2013. This gave him the confidence he needed to pursue acting full-time, and presently he maneuvers between the cooking shows and shooting ads for the likes of Vita Coco, Charlie on Broadway, and Google. The list goes on and on. Oh, and did I mention he's also the author of a cookbook called Cooking with Lorenzo? Let's do this. So, without any further ado, let's do this. Welcome to the amazingly talented and versatile actor, director, chef, and too much to list, my dear friend, Lorenzo Beronilla.
Wow, amazing.
You're awesome.
I didn't know I was awesome until you said that. I'm tired. I've done a lot. Goodness.
You
Uh,
have done beyond. They could have gone on. We would have had a show just listing the stuff that you do. That's the thing.
oh
And
my
that's no
God,
joke. That's no joke, really.
that is so funny. When
I
you
know.
know, it seems like a million years when you list all that stuff. But to me, it's just one thing was right after the other. It was there was no time frame of any time passing. It was literally bump bump. I just move on to the next one. I didn't have time to think about it. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy ride. How's that?
Yes, and absolutely, absolutely crazy. I wanted to talk about his meeting online because I thought it was funny, and
Oh my
I
God.
had to do a little pause so people are going to be like, oh, "What?"
Right. They're like, what dating app?
What dating app is Lorenzo on? Is he still there? Let's go find him. Um,
Hilarious.
I'm telling you, that was the funniest day because I remember I was taking my daughters actually to audition. It wasn't even for me. And we were on that
Yeah.
line ridiculously. And I remember I wasn't even feeling good. And I was like, oh, is this ever gonna end? And then we met you, and it was just so funny, the whole waiting, and the rest is history. I ended up actually auditioning and being on the next one of the background. That next one was when I saw you again.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
was-
You know, wasn't that in Poughkeepsie?
It was.
Wasn't that in Poughkeepsie? Do you know I was actually on my way to the mall?
No, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
It wasn't planned. I just wanted to see what everybody was doing.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had no interest in being an actor.
No.
You know, because how you just introduced me, that was in 2012, right? That we met. But
Yes.
2013 is my first commercial, my first ever acting gig. And I was on my way to the Poughkeepsie Galleria.
Oh
I just
my
saw
God.
I just saw a crowd. I said, "What's happening here? Are they giving a free barbecues away or something?" I want in on that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, that's a true story. And
Oh my
then
gosh.
you happen to be right there. You guys were talking up a store. It was just like the chipmunks were just talking. It was crazy. And I turned around and I said, "Should I say hello?" And that's all she wrote. I we've been saying hello ever since.
We definitely have. We definitely, and it was funny because then it was short, like that next week, maybe I don't even know when it was when we
Yeah,
saw each other on the set. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's you, and you're like, oh no, it's her.
hilarious.
And remember,
my inner
I had
my
packed.
inner monologue.
Yes, yes. You're always very polite on the outside, and you're on the inside. You're like, oh no, oh no. I had packed a suitcase like I was as if I was going away, and you're like, what? What is that? What is happening?
Was
But
hilarious. I thought you were going to Europe for 3 weeks.
I know. I felt that way, but I do have to say that, leading into I have I have some questions for you.
Sure, sure.
Leading into that, the reason I'm so happy to do this is, over the years that I have asked
Yeah.
you millions and millions of questions all the time. And every time we went on a shoot together or an audition or the actual shoot, I had my little recorder, right? And I would ask you
Yes,
questions and I still have
absolutely.
them. I still have them.
That is so funny.
I know.
That is, it was great though. I mean, I loved it because we went to had so many gigs that we were booked together on, and it was a great opportunity to kind of like shoot some information back and forth. And I was more than happy to always share.
And it was great. I think it was because you'd be like, now make sure you do this and make sure you do this. I felt like I had to do it. I felt like I was in school. Oh, yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But I love your
Well,
honesty too. The honesty would be like, okay, this monologue. What are you doing? You're not even looking at the camera.
right.
You look. Where are you looking?
Yeah. Well, who needs to be told that this something they did was terrific when, it's clearly, hey, you can tweak it a bit and this is how I did it, so I got booked and maybe it'll work for you. That's all I was ever saying.
Right.
So if it worked for me, why not? Right?
Right. And that was the cool thing. So I'm gonna start by asking you a couple of questions.
Oh wow, I'm excited. I
I
like
know,
this.
I know. And feel free to ad lib or you know what I mean. Throw in some ones that I'm not asking you because I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all.
Oh, believe me, when you and I start talking, just whatever happens. So watch out, people. Get your,
It's true.
put
Our
your feet,
latest.
put your feet up, or take some Dramamine if you have to, because this is a crazy ride that's gonna happen.
It's true. I'll tell you. Because our latest trip of 5 hours, I don't think we stopped at all. You did get to sleep on the way back, but on the way on the way down,
Yes,
it was all talk, right? Right? Me, you,
yes, it
and
was
Jermaine.
constantly.
Shout out to
Yes,
Jermaine.
shout out to Jermaine,
All
great
right.
guy.
So there's so many things you have done, but I've chosen chef author to go with first, okay? Because
Sure.
that kind of is like an interest. So first of all, tell me a little bit about the journey. I guess what inspired you to become a chef, and I'm in awe of this because I'm not a chef at all.
Well, that's the funny part, whenever you're in New York, and I lived in the Hudson Valley, I still live in the Hudson Valley, but when you're in New York, you don't go in for an audition and then leave. You kind of hope you get a whole bunch of auditions in one day. Because our auditions are literally 1 to 2 minutes, and we spend all that money going in. We're spending a paycheck to go in for an audition that we may not even get.
Exactly.
So I was lucky enough. I was an actor. I was an actor. I've been acting for the past 10 years. So I happen to have been referred it's so lovely. The group of actors that we know always kind of share if they see a gig that might apply to you. So it just so happened there was a cooking pilot, and a friend emailed it to me, and I was just like, oh, I want to be an actor. I'm preparing for another gig later. I have to still run my lines. And again, I didn't want to do any reality television. To me, that was reality television. At playing cooking to me is reality television, and I don't want to play myself. So I just said, you know what, why not? I have a couple hours till I have to go to my next audition. They said it would only take about 45 minutes, whatever. And it ended up being at Condé Nast at World Trade One. I went to, that's where the test kitchen is. You know, this is where Epicurious is. This is where Bon Appetit is. This is where Vogue, Architectural Digest is. This is GQ. It's crazy how many 21 magazines, I believe.
Wow.
So I walk into this enormous studio, and they said, can you cook this? And I believe the first thing it was cookies. I love me some cookies. I love me some chocolate chip cookies. And I said, oh yeah, I can do that. So I was excited that I knew how to do something. And I was waiting for them to give me a script or a teleprompter. And it was just all, no, unscripted. We're just going to film you do this. So I got into this just completely accidentally as a referral from a friend. What I didn't know is they loved it so much that they brought us back in for another one and another shoot. And when they tested it, I didn't even know how they're going to test it to go to series. In order for it to go to series, they tested it on YouTube. I had no idea, really. I was just kind of passing time in between auditions. But to my shock, it went viral, #1 trending in the world for a couple days. Now, when something goes on YouTube, usually viral for like a few minutes to maybe an hour or maybe half a day. The fact that this went viral for that long was crazy. And I think in the first 12 minutes or 20 minutes, it got 20 million views.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was #1 in the world.
That's ridiculous.
And exactly. And then I said, what? I had people texting me saying you're all over YouTube. I said, what did I do? I thought I did something wrong. I didn't drink yesterday. What's wrong with you?
Is it a blooper?
Yeah, I said, and next thing you know, it just kept being viewed. And it was a hit. It went straight to series. That was my introduction to the world of food and culinary.
That's
I
insane.
wasn't, I'm not a trained chef. I'm a kid who grew up with a big family and was plopped on top of a kitchen counter, and that's how they babysat me.
Oh.
I watched them cook as I tried not to get in trouble on the counter, and I was fascinated. Yeah.
And that's the thing. See, you were fascinated with, because I grew up in a big Italian family, right? That's what we did.
Yeah.
They did all the time. It wasn't my forte. I love to eat. That's really great. I can cook, but I'm not the type that's like, hey, let me go make a pot of soup or let me do it. No, that's not me. Like, I will follow a recipe. So if they said to me, make cookies, right? Chocolate chip cookies or whatever, I need my recipe. Like, I'm like, okay, I have a cup of this. I have to read it 85 times. And then
Sure.
maybe not that many.
Sure.
So that's amazing, Lorenzo.
I mean, I can't do that with everything, but it just so happened I could do it with that,
Yeah. But knowing you, and you'll be answering some of these questions, but knowing you, you can do, you are so good on your feet like that. You are so good. You don't, even if you freeze in your brain, you don't appear to, you know what I mean? So it's
wow, that's a huge compliment, because I am petrified
but you don't
to be in front of an audience. Like, I would never do theater. I grew up as an extremely shy guy. You know that I was extremely shy. I have told you 1,000 times that I grew up extremely shy. I mean, it's hilarious. People don't understand, or whenever I say it to them, they don't believe it. When I say I was so shy, people not only thought I didn't understand English, they thought I couldn't speak English because I just wouldn't say a thing. I was just this kid that was just extremely introverted and just watched people.
And you
So
know that
that's
I'm
yeah.
the same. If you read any of my
Yes,
stuff, it was,
yes,
and people don't
yes,
believe
yes,
it. So you know, it's a good thing to do. And like, if you're doing something, they're playing games, and they're like, write down something nobody knows about you and put it in a hat, and they pick it out and they try
yeah.
to guess the person. They never guess me. They're like,
That's
no
the
way,
best
no
one.
way.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have done that one time. I have answered that question saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm completely introverted." They're
So
like, "Get out of here."
so how did you? This is a side note here. How did you? What do you think made you change, switch over to being able? I know you're still nervous on the inside because so am I.
Yeah,
I get the same way. Like, even before coming to talk to you, who I know for years, I get like, okay, you know, you want to make sure everything's right. But do you
it's
have
the
any idea?
acting.
The
It's the
acting.
acting thing. It's the acting thing. You know, you're in front of all these cameras, all these people, all the time. Something happened to me. Like I love with the cameras in front of me before, but I always used to hate pictures of myself, recordings of my voice, the sound of my voice. But all of a sudden, acting as an adult, it has just opened up to this world of fun.
Right.
And to me, I'm so comfortable with it. I look forward to going to set. I really, really do, because it's almost like I can play for that period of time. And it's funny, I'm exhausted afterwards.
Right.
You know, I used to say people who do like theater, how can you do 3 shows a day or 2 shows a day? Because I need to kind of unwind and kind of decompress after I do a gig because I just gave everything for that 6, 8, 10 hours. And I just want to be quiet. You know, I usually pull up and have a beer and just chill and not even talk to the bartenders or anybody. And then I pretend I don't speak English. So no one bothers me. So I revert back to my being so shy. But I purposely did.
That comes in handy. I
It
like that.
does.
I like that. And I know I'm kind of
Yeah.
mixed and matched. I was going to start with chef, but I'm going to intermingle both because I need to
Sure.
ask you this question because I know for myself, memorizing lines, I'm like freaked out every time. And I always think like, I can
Yeah.
never do this. I can never do it. And then you do it, but it takes me a lot. So I just want to know
Yeah.
on what's your process? Because that's a big deal, you know?
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal, especially for some people who just fall back into acting. You know, I'm not one of those people who studied theater. I never wanted to be an actor. I'm dyslexic. So
Right. Yeah.
for me to try
Wow.
to memorize something, you know, it's like, oh, I have 4 pages to memorize. Yay. No, it's not a yay. It's
No.
like, oh geez, help me, help me. So what I do, it's easy. I don't put any pressure on myself. I like to just read it and read it and read it. And then I actually put it on an app that reads to me. So I love it. I had Gwyneth Paltrow reading my script once.
Wow.
It was
You could
a
change the
robot.
voice.
It was, yes, you can. It was like, hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm going to read, this diaper commercial for you. It
I,
was fantastic. It's just so silly, right? And
that's great.
so, and then by hearing it, I'm. It's weird because I also have a photographic memory. It's weird. Here I'm dyslexic, photographic memory, but when I hear it, I I, I absorb it more if I just keep hearing it.
Right.
Not like me reverberating it and just like looking at it, try to read that line, memorize that line. That's later. I
Right.
just read it a million and one times after a day of maybe how many times? 50 times and listening to it, maybe 10 times, 20 times. It's easier for me to go back and start breaking down the paragraphs and like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And because I remember what it sounded like. So
Right.
if
Right.
if I miss a word, it's like, oh no, it wasn't that because I heard Gwyneth told me.
Gwyneth
Well,
told me.
Gwyneth told me it was extra absorbent.
I
But
love that.
that's my process. No one taught me to. No one can teach you how to memorize.
Right.
You
Right.
you know what I mean? You have to find your own kind of tricks. But that's my trick that works. I don't do anything else but that. read, listen, then I start. Then it's
That's
easy.
good.
It's
Yeah.
amazing when you do memorize it. You're like so happy and proud of yourself.
Yes, you are.
How
You are.
that
You go, oh my gosh, because yeah, I swear that I can't do it because it's the same with me. I have to feel it, understand it, and I don't have the exact words, so sometimes that gets me crazy. But then I try not to think about that. Like, it could be a this word or that word. And you pretty much, for most, I'm going to say 99% of the time, you need to have the wording right. You can't just make some you can improvise depending on the
Yeah,
director or whoever's doing. But more
yeah,
you want to know exactly. So I do the same thing. You have to take it in, then you
yeah,
understand it, then you become that part, and then
yeah,
you can memorize. But when you do, you are proud of yourself because you're like, it
yeah.
works. My brain is working.
Yeah. Remember, Anne, you and I speak very fast,
Yeah.
right? We can even speak faster if we want to.
Yes.
So if we say those lines the way we talk, we'll memorize it faster that way.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's true.
it's interesting because the cadence of our how we talk will match our our thought process of
Right.
like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
I say it like this.
Right.
So it's easier for me to get
Yeah.
it. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Yeah, because it's you and you have to do, even when I'm reading things in voiceover, I have to look away sometimes and say it. Because if I'm
Yeah.
reading it, it doesn't sound like me at all. Because now I'm reading
Yes.
the lines. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm gonna go back to chef for a second, and I want to
Sure. I
know.
like I like how you're bouncing back. It's cool.
You can't help it because they kind of intermingle, even though they're totally not, but they are. Um,
Okay.
uh, so for your cooking style, right? So what makes Lorenzo set apart from others? Like, what makes your cooking style? What sets you apart? I love that you're laughing.
well,
What sets it
well,
apart?
everybody wants this scientific answer. They want, oh well, I studied here and I learned in France and all this stuff. I am simply just I'm not taught, so it's almost what tastes good to me. Uh, it I remember growing up and saying to my mom and dad, I was little, I was just over my friend's house. They had this thing in a tray, a casserole, and they served another thing with pasta and these round things. It was lasagna and meatballs and spaghetti. I never saw a lasagna before in my life. I did not know that meatballs existed. My mom never did it that way. She always just mashed it up, more like a bolognese style where you just saute it, you don't form the balls. So I said, well, what is that? I said, this is delicious. And I told them. So to me, I incorporated how I grew up and what I taught, the foods I made, which is basically Asian, Filipino, and then Spanish food, also on part Spanish, but grew up Filipino with Filipino food. So I Americanized a lot of Filipino food and vice versa. So if it was a dish you gave me, maybe you had a shrimp and pasta, I would put a little Asian flair to it. I would add chili flakes. I would add maybe a Thai chili instead, and or along with it, add different vegetables to it. You would have spinach. I would have bok choy,
Uh,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So I basically it's just I take what you normally think you're gonna get. I'll take a bowl of chicken soup, and mine would be chicken congee, which is like a rice soup, a very comforting soup.
mm-hmm,
Um, yeah, it's cool. So that's my twist. That's my fusion. It's
mm-hmm.
what I grew up on. I did not go to school and no one taught me. It's just what I grew up on.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
really that's amazing. So I want to definitely hear like something.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be funny. It could be whatever. But like a
sure.
memorable. It can be funny though. A memorable kitchen moment, right? Or
Kitchen.
a challenging situation that you faced while cooking.
Uh-huh.
Just a
Uh,
situation like that. And I'm
oh,
gonna say
cooking wise?
probably cooking wise. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
probably you can intermingle this because you're a chef on TV. So it
Yeah.
could be while you were filming. So you can mix the two
Yes.
together. It doesn't have to be in your own
Well,
kitchen because that's not usually
yeah.
challenging.
Well, what came to mind immediately when you said challenging cooking is, like I said, I'm not a trained chef, and here you're thrown onto Top Chef amateurs. Uh, just to let you know, people out there, it is not scripted. It's just whatever you say happens is happening. They just film you.
I love that though. I love when it's not scripted. I like to hear that. That's great.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good news. But when it's happening to you,
It's not good.
it's nerve wracking. So, you think you could do it because I've been watching Food Network forever. It's always had been on, it's almost like my green noise in the background. I've also learned how to cook like that. But on Top Chef, this challenge of when they told me what I had to use, because you don't know what you're going to make prior. There's no way of studying or preparing yourself.
Oh my
It's,
gosh.
you need to snap out of it and cook your butt off.
Oh wow.
And they said, you need to make a cohesive dish using eggs. I looked at my competitor and I looked at the team of judges. I completely forgot what an egg looked like. I thought they were speaking in a different language. I was like, take me to your leader because I have no idea what you just said to me. I looked, if you see the show, I had the dumbest look on my face and they replay it a million times. And I went, eggs, where are eggs? I literally was like, because you have to understand, there were not chicken eggs. There were quail eggs given to you, ostrich eggs given to you. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
There were a fish roe given to you. There was a botarga given to you. There were eggs upon eggs upon eggs, but not a one chicken egg to be in sight that you would be comfortable with. So
Oh my goodness.
for a good 5 minutes, I not only didn't know what an egg was, I didn't know where I was. I was just like, you know what? I'm done, you guys. I'm taking a break. Time out, cut. It was awful. It was awful. But they covered every minute of it, and it's quite a funny episode as well.
And you're going to share the link to this episode with me, right? So people could
Oh,
actually see this one directly,
sure.
as well as other links, all your rest of your
Sure,
links too.
sure. You can see that on Bravo. It plays on Bravo all the time.
Oh my God. Well, what would we be
yeah,
looking
yeah.
for then? What episode
Uh,
would that be?
Sure. It's I think it's No Time to Explain.
Oh, okay. I
I
like that.
think something like that. I think it was episode 6 or 4. Why? I don't know my own episode. I have no
That's
idea.
okay. We're going to search
But
for you.
yeah, but I'm right there. Believe me, you won't miss the stupid look on the mug. You'll know it's me.
But you pulled it
Yes,
together. How did you do at
I.
by the end of that? What
Well, you
came
only
out
have
of that?
you only had like 44 minutes, and those 44 minutes
Oh my God.
go like wildfire. My only plan, I told myself, always look at the clock. Always look at the clock. And I thought I was, but you're so nervous and your blood is pumping. I may have looked at the clock 20 times, but never actually knew what the clock was saying.
Oh my God.
Like I didn't register. I'm just looking up at the clock, and I don't even know what the time is.
Oh my
This
God.
is
Like, is
what
that a
happens
clock?
to you.
Is that a clock?
It-
What is that thing?
It's nuts. The pressure is nuts. That's why the shows are so fun. It's so real.
Right.
It's so real. So I ended up making, how this happened, an omelet, a duck egg omelet with seared Thai duck egg omelet with seared scallops and pancetta with vegetables, Thai chilies, and caviar, and botarga, which is also caviar, and shaved chili threads on top.
Oh, is
Is
that
that
all?
crazy?
Is that all? Oh my God.
Just whipped it up. Just whipped it up.
Whipped it up. I'd have an omelet. Here you go. Some cheddar. Here you go.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
I don't know what went through my brain, but it's actually a very familiar dish that I make at home. The other stuff was extra,
Wow.
but
Okay. That's insane. That's insane.
yeah,
All right,
it
so
sounds good. I gotta make it. I'll make it for you sometime. I'll make it for you.
I was gonna say, so I'm gonna be coming over and you're gonna be cooking for me. I
Totally,
would say
totally,
you
totally.
could come here, but I definitely don't have all the utensils you need.
Right.
I'll be coming. I'll be
Right.
coming over.
Sure, no worries.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
Well, this brings me to the next question, because this is just, I threw this in for myself. So share
Sure.
some tips for amateur chefs or anybody who wants to cook something differently, looking to like improve
Yeah,
their skills in the kitchen. Any
sure.
tips?
Absolutely. Um, you know, whenever you see all these shows, it's just so easy to just go to the grocery and get the same things that they have. That's kind of the problem with people starting to cook. That's what they do, but that's all they'll be able to make is what they see. What they need to do is go to their cupboard and see if they can make something of what they currently have, even if you think you have zero. But I guarantee you might have some pasta in there. You definitely have an onion in your fridge or on the counter, tomato, garlic. Hopefully, you have a protein. Everybody likes steak. If you don't like steak, maybe people have some frozen shrimp in the fridge, the freezer. But the idea is to don't go to the grocery.
Mm,
See if you can make something with what you have. Do your best. Like really try, not just edible. It's like kind of impress yourself. Think like you are a Dr. Frankenstein in the kitchen and
hmm.
try to just, yeah, I guess I could do something with that and put it together. You know what tastes good. You could always throw some hot sauce on something or, sriracha,
My
and
favorite.
it's always fixed, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
instead of sriracha, mix sriracha in with some sour cream, and all of a sudden you have this nice creamy thing, and then maybe mix that with some cilantro or parsley you have hanging around. You can do a lot of different stuff. Just layer the flavors of what you normally like the taste of. So
Okay.
you can pick, I like ketchup, I
Hmm.
like soy sauce, I like sesame oil, I like garlic, I like onion. So guess what I do? I chop them all up and pour them all in and add olive oil, and I have a fantastic Asian dressing.
Oh,
It's
that's
also can be
cool.
used as if I add vinegar, all of a sudden now I have an Asian flared marinade.
Nice.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes sense. Okay, I can do that. I
yeah,
can do
yeah.
that.
You can.
I
You can't.
can.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just, you see it on TV. It looks so great. Yeah, it looks so great, but they started with a lot of
Mhm.
these competitions. I'm telling you, it's if you were watching nowadays, they're not making fancy stuff. A lot of the competitions are, can you make a good omelet? Can you make a good
Mhm.
burger? Can you make a good steak? It's really normal stuff that us everyday people can want to eat and make every week for our families.
Right, right. And do you think
So
nowadays even more than, because I know me, I'm a 5 ingredient or less kind of person. Do you think nowadays people are like, I wanna do something really great, but I don't wanna
yeah,
spend, like, the whole day cooking or something? Do you think it's still that, or do you think it's
no, I don't think that. I
okay.
actually think people want to learn to
Mm,
cook, and they kind of say, it's too easy to order. It really is, especially in the city.
right.
Um, but if you truly want to learn, you might want to get out of that 5 ingredient cooking. It's fine. Um, that saves a lot of time. But if you want to start really learning, you're gonna have to add a few more ingredients to five.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't think that's for me, but I love it. I love to eat, and I'll definitely be at
Yeah,
your place to eat and all, but I know
sure.
me, and but there are people who really, do love to cook and they wanna know. So in that
Yeah,
vein, what would you
yes,
say to somebody who's aspiring to be a chef? Like, just starting
yeah,
out, and, like, what give a little advice on starting out,
sure.
what to do?
Well, first of all, you need to taste your food constantly. A lot of these chefs out there um, will cook something, get it out, and when it gets to my table, I'm thinking, did they actually taste it? It's so salty.
Oh, wow.
I'm puckering here.
Oh, no.
So enjoy the process of cooking, the fun of cooking. I hope it's fun for you. Like again, it is it's not your job, it's your career now. I'm an actor. I don't do it as a job. I act as a career. It's interesting, because a lot of people, I'm a jobber. Like I try to find jobs back to back every week. Um, but the pressure's off because I'm not trying to find a job. I'm trying to add to my career.
Ah,
That's how I
yes.
think about it. So
Mhm.
I kind of really pick and choose what I would like to participate in. Of course, the money has a lot to do with it. Of course, the distance where it's in the location where it's filmed. But it's more, I like to play. I don't want to do the same old again. I've done over 340 commercials in like
Wow.
7 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So I like to find, I don't want to do the same one every time.
Right. Right. That would be
So
horrible, right? I don't care
yeah.
what it
So I,
pays.
yeah. So I started dabbling in indies and I started doing short films, and that is just opened up a world of fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
No,
But
that's good advice. And oh, I'm gonna go on to this 1 second. Hold on.
sure, I'll go.
Now we are
Really.
we are gonna be audio mostly, but I'm gonna show you. Tell us
I
about the
see.
book. I'm holding up Lorenzo's book. Let's
Goodness.
do this, folks. Tell me about
Wow.
this. How did this happen, Lorenzo?
It just everything was just domino effect when I first was on the Epicurious show. Business Insider, after another successful show, which is called Pro Chef versus Home Cook, that's the 53 million view one, and it's never stopping. It's just enormous all over the world. People stop me more so for that. And so after these successful shows were happening over 4 years ago, Business Insider did an article of the what Epicurious started, this four levels thing. So it featured myself, Emily, Duncan, and also Chef Frank Proto. We're the OGs. Well, we're three of the OGs. There's many more OGs. There's another handful, but they named us like the newest type of people who could compete against Food Network stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
was like we're the newest food influencers. It was
Wow.
just strange. None of us, besides Chef Frank, had a culinary career, and that launched people looking at us and searching for us to publish a book, to write a cookbook. I had offered to write a cookbook, um, and I was just in shock.
That's
Never wrote a
crazy.
cookbook, and I ended up writing the whole thing on my phone.
How is that possible?
Well, I didn't ever want it to feel like it was work, so I never sat down and said,
Okay.
"Okay, this is the time I have to write something." That's a lot of pressure. So I never sat down at sit down time. I'd be either mowing the lawn and had an idea, and I'd shut the mower off and I'd pull out my phone and switch it from Spotify to my notes and just write down, oh yeah, I remember, this recipe, or I would pop up a memory of being in a kitchen when I was a kid, and all of a sudden a pancake recipe came up that my uncle used to make. It's crazy. That's how I wrote it. I literally never wrote it on a computer. Everything was on my phone. It was
Oh my gosh.
nuts.
How long did it
It,
take to actually to the finished product? Because there's a lot involved. I mean, you've got to make sure
yeah,
the recipe's like pretty exact because
yeah.
people are following this and
It is a long, arduous process, I must say.
Mhm.
Goodness me. Let's see. I would say a good, I don't know, maybe writing wise, I was given 3 months, 4 months. Then there's editing, and then there's approvals. The most important part about writing anything is you have to find your own voice,
Right.
and you kind of have to stick up for yourself and make sure that voice isn't stifled, because as much as, yeah, you are part of they want to publish your book, there's also timelines, there's also qualifiers, as in it's too long, it's too short, et cetera, et
Mhm.
cetera. But thankfully, I worked with Page Street Publishers, lovely, lovely people, great people. I commend them, I respect them, and I refer them to all. Uh, to They were nice, and they kept my voice in there, and because I wrote it like I was just talking to you.
That's what I love. I love it because it's you talking to me. It's
Yeah.
totally you.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just reading, especially for somebody who's like, "What's happening? What do I do?" No,
Right.
it really is, and I love the pictures and I love the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
you. It totally is.
Yeah. It's a
And I,
very comfortable book. Yeah.
it is. It
So
totally is. And I know it's not easy because we just did with my cousins and everything. We did a family, but we made it ourselves, not published. We made it
oh
through,
wow.
yeah, through like mixed book, put it together. But that took forever because we have all of our,
Really?
family
Yeah.
recipes because we had to make sure, is this right? Or and they don't have everything in it. So just figuring out every little thing. And that was just for
Yes.
ourselves. I can't
Yes.
imagine when you have to put
It's
it out there.
just
It's
it's
crazy.
tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It is thinking about it right now. I'm sweating. I'm
Yes.
sweating thinking about it. But it is. I'm truly proud of it. I love
Yeah.
it. I was so happy. I'm so happy I was able to share it with
Oh my gosh.
everybody, and it's cute to me. I think it's just like I keep forgetting it. I wrote it, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. I authored a book.
That's cute. It's cute. It's a great book. And we'll put the link in here too in the show notes because
Oh,
so people
thanks,
can
thanks,
can find that too. So
thank you.
I'm going to transition, even though I've been mixing and matching to like acting, and
Go
you
for it.
kind of mentioned, but maybe if you want to throw anything else in this question about how you journeyed into acting.
Completely accidental. I already had a job. I was a marketing agent. I was doing promo marketing. I had no scratch, no kick, no push ever, or never had a dream, an inkling. I never had a thought to ever become an actor. Ever. I was a
That's
shy kid. Why would I think that? Why would I want to be thrown in front of a camera if I'm going to throw up as soon as you do? You know what I mean? It made no sense.
why
But
torture yourself? Why am I going to torture
yeah,
myself? Yes.
see, it's interesting. A lot of people ask me how, well, you became quite good or successful with it in my own right, of course. I mean, you could be more success and the different levels and tiers of acting success. But to me, it came kind of, believe me, I had to audition a million and one times like everybody else, but it seemed like I was getting the job quite easier than most, but I didn't know that at the time because I wasn't up against it. I didn't know anybody else. I was just, oh, I'll just audition. Oh, great. I booked that one for this week. Oh, wow. And next week I booked that one already. And that's what I was almost so naive about the process that really happens in the world
Mm-hmm.
that to say it to another actor, they're like, what the heck's wrong? Are you jerk? You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't
Like
happen like that.
like we
It's
like
that's
you, but now we don't like you.
yeah. Honestly, it's like, are you stupid? It's not easy. It just for me, I think maybe because of my demographic, maybe because I am Spanish and Asian. I have more of a world to audition for. Um,
But it's
it,
not just that. It can't be just that.
I
It
enjoy
has to
I
be more to it.
enjoyed it.
Maybe originally saying, "Okay, great, you've got that, that's who you are." But then you've got when you get there, it's your personality.
I was very innocent. I just showed me. I never was like, I need this. Oh God, I want this so badly. Or
Right.
it was never like that. It was, I'm gonna show them how I interpreted this audition because I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I always kind of laughed at the end of my auditions, or I think they could tell that I enjoyed it.
Right. Right.
There was no pressure on me if I was right for the part.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand it's not really me. You have to be a pleasant actor for them to want to look at you, but you're really helping them sell a product.
Right.
So the product's the star. I'm the side guy. I'm the sidecar.
Uh-huh.
I might be holding the product up or wearing the product. So I think my naivete,
Right.
my childlike, really high world is it. I'm not saying it's easy to get these jobs. I'm just saying I'm enjoying myself auditioning for these, and it just so happens a director or producer or the client sees that I'm comfortable with it and just says he'll be nice to work with, and they gave me a shot. It's
Mhm.
just, again, I had no one to compare it to because I had never done any group acting before besides a little in the Hudson Valley, meeting you. I never worked in New York before. So I
Yes.
did background for a while. And I'm so happy. Everybody poo-poos background.
Mhm.
You have to kind of pay your dues. I have fond memories of background
Me too.
because one, yeah, right.
Mhm.
You would be in these places you would never have had access to in New York.
Right.
We are on the top of these buildings or in these office buildings that are just high security, or we're in a wardrobe of a different time, a century. It's so cool,
Yes. Yes.
and and then all the action going out, people watching us and thinking, I'm only BG, but they're really watching me
And they can't do it
across the
without you, right? They can't do it
yeah,
without you. I know it's so it's
well, they
as
can't.
much as you feel, and I think you're correct. We have to all go through it. I learned so much. I met so
Yeah,
many people there, and anytime that we were on it,
yeah,
I'd be like, "Tell me some stuff. Here's what I'm doing in our
yeah.
downtime." Right? You got to
Right.
take advantage of the
You learn.
time,
You
and
ask them.
you don't want to stay there. You want to move on
Yeah,
from that, but you can
just
learn
like
while you're
anything
there.
else.
Hmm.
Just like anything else, you go to school
Right.
to go to the next grade. That's how it is. It's just that I had done it long enough. And thank God I did it because I still have the same friends. It's funny. I
Yeah.
love it. Or else I would not have known anybody in New
Yes,
York.
it's true.
And no stories to compare. So now it's so funny. I did last year. I did a New Jersey lottery commercial, and I was principal. I was the hero of in the commercial, and here the director's assistant and who was kind of rounding us up said, Lorenzo. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen this guy for years, like
Wow.
5 years. He used to be my wrangler. He used to be the PA
Oh.
and of other background stuff I used to do. And now I'm principal in something. He congratulated me and just said, good job. It doesn't happen to a lot of people. And I said, I was like, I'm so happy to see you. It was a cool moment, you
That's
know?
wild. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh
yeah.
gosh. Okay, so this is really kind of important to us. I'm
Sure.
going to say because you book a lot and I know you, okay? And you work like a dog. I mean, you work like crazy, okay? So anybody who might not know you a lot might think like, "Oh my god, he's so lucky. He's so this." And yeah, yeah, you work, Lorenzo.
Yeah,
So you've
yeah.
earned everything you're getting and you just earned it all. But I want to say, like, if you can just navigate or like tell us what a day is like in your life when you're not on the set.
Wow, that is so hilariously revealing. No, it's a really good question. I think I might look like a maniac. Uh, I get up in the morning, coffee. I love being outside, so I sit outside. Let's pretend it's summertime. So I sit outside and I immediately look if I have any emails from agents or any pop-ups for auditions.
Okay.
Okay, as I'm sitting outside,
And I'm
I
going to
keep
interrupt
looking.
one. Let me
Yeah,
interrupt. When I first started out with this, and I was, of course, asking you all these questions and never knew what I was doing, I would be waiting till I got to my computer and you'd be like, hello, set yourself up with your folders so you can answer from your phone. I'm just going to throw that in. Go on.
that
And
is
I
so
did. And
funny.
I did.
That is so funny. Um, so, uh, so I would be just drinking my coffee, and I start right away. I start looking at, say, I had 4 auditions. Mind you, by the end of the day, sometimes I have 7 auditions. I know that drives people crazy. They're like, how'd you do that? I look everywhere and
Mhm.
I submit for all different sorts of things. So this can be a voiceover, it can be an indie, it can be an industrial, it can be a print ad, it can be a pharma gig. I look everywhere. I submit so much. I expect to get so much. It's just like playing the numbers,
Right.
lotto numbers.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I'm gonna get feedback and audition requests from the 30 things I sent out.
Mhm.
Um, Luckily for me, it averages, good, so many auditions a day. so many. And do I necessarily read through them? I don't. I actually don't read them. I search for more already. I start applying for more, submitting for more before I even get to my to-do list of the day.
Right.
And I go in, I try to submit for as much as possible in all the sites that I use. Once I've depleted that, and I do it so fast, it's old hat now, you get so used to it. And I have notes like, copy and paste. So it's not like I'm writing everything out. I just tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
After I satisfy that, I go in and see my auditions, which ones have a lot of script, which ones a teleprompter, which ones do I have to change my clothes because it's a print ad, which, things like that. I kind of plan my auditions after that, like order. I mostly go for the hard ones first, just to like tackle that, and then it's smooth sailing the rest of the day instead of the reverse. You know what I mean? Most people do the reverse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good thing to do. That's good.
but I'm kind of a one-hit wonder. I don't really record more than twice unless it's specific wordings I must have messed up in a very long page for a pharma. Of course, I have to do that not a million times, maybe 3 times. But usually, if I read what I'm supposed to do and the actions, I do it once. I laugh, I keep it in. If I trip, I keep it in. If
Oh,
I messed up my intro, I chuckle and keep it in.
right.
I'm very real with it. I don't want to be, wow, that guy nailed it. It's just like I want to nail it, but also have fun as I do it. So I keep it really real. And a lot of times they tell me that I do that. A lot of times the director says, it's funny, we remembered you because you laughed at the end. I went, oh, didn't mean to. I just thought it was funny,
That's great
And
advice because that is really great advice to do that because a lot of people do not do that. You figure it has to be perfect, but they want to know that they're working with you as they want to know that you're good to work with too. It's not just about that.
Totally. Because remember, on Actors Access, there used to be people who would only get that personality slate. You would see who they really are. I'm sorry, I can't tell from 4 seconds of you telling your name that you're not a psycho from hell. And if you're perfect and so sterile and so just what is it called, the whatever wives, what are those,
the Stepford wives,
if you're like so sterile, I'm like, you scared the bejesus out of me. I said, I'll give you a chance, but I'm worried.
Not a full day on set with you. You're scaring me.
I'm telling you. So you kind of want to give them what you want. Give them what they're going to be working is important. And, still do the job. You still hit your lines, but after that, it's okay.
And it's funny because I've become much more comfortable with doing it. And it is, and I'm not going to just give you kudos because you're on here, but it's true. I've learned a lot from you. And then sometimes I'll be like, send me an example. Show me what you did. Because it's important, like, to see that.
Sure. It is.
And I know even the last few things that I booked, I did the same thing, like an organic, like just a laugh at the end and say, thanks and turn it off, just because it was there. And I would never, I would have cut that out before. I would have been like, no, I can't do that. I can't be that.
Totally.
But
even dance moves. Whenever
got some
when
good
they ask
dance
you
moves.
when they ask you to dance, I don't put out my steps. I don't, draw out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I just twerk and then hopefully think it's funny.
Yes, I have totally loosened up on my auditions of dancing.
So funny.
It's true, getting out of your head. So are there any like directors or actors, or if you were in, I don't know, have you ever been in plays? I don't know. Have you been on stage? Is that?
Heck no, my God. Anytime somebody mentions that, I sweat. I break out in a sweat. It's not something I want to do. I don't, even though people say you don't even see the audience. It's lights are looking at you. To me, it's a different animal.
It is. It is.
I wouldn't, who knows down the road, but who knew I was going to be an actor?
It is an experience. I will say that I've done not a lot, but I've done it. It's a completely
Really?
different animal. It's actually cool to do it once or twice, but I couldn't see it
Right.
being my only thing. So then, how about any directors
Uh,
or
sure.
actors who influenced, or anyone else who influenced your work significantly?
Such good questions, Anne. You're so good at this. Well, whenever I watch a movie, I like watching the actor act because they're like, I love talent in any form. I love intelligence in any form. If you
Mm-hmm.
can play the piano, it's a talent, but it's intelligence. If you can rattle off a formula, I go, wow, that's cool. I just love talent in many, many forms. You can paint, sing.
Mm-hmm.
So an actor, that's a talent, And when they parlay those talents, a lot of the actors I like or directors I like were actors
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the first Robin Williams,
Yes.
of
Yes.
course,
Uh-huh.
from day one, ever seeing him in many different comedy things, but even his comedy specials and then the serious stuff. Gosh, just highly intelligent, amazing. And that one, he edits as he's saying it. He knows. He's so super smart. It 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 was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So not he inspired me actually not to edit and trust myself because I think if you're a half decent person and you're not going to say anything bad. So luckily when I kind of let things go, I'm still respectful.
Right. Right.
so so I really love how Robin Williams worked. I love and then on the other hand, Clint Eastwood. When you
Oh,
see Clint Eastwood, very quiet person, can act without saying a thing. He
right.
uses his eyes, his facial expression. I learned through him it's okay to just not say anything sometimes and to
Right.
be quiet. That's why a lot of times I tell people, you're rushing. You're rushing. What are you in a hurry for? Take that beat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people say take 2 beats. I take 4 beats and then let my
Mm-hmm.
face do the talking. I love it.
That's
And then
great.
there's Daniel Day-Lewis, who's
Mm-hmm.
amazing character actor. He can
Mm-hmm.
just change and doesn't matter. He doesn't care what he looks like normally. He can change and it's okay to be ugly. I learned to be ugly. Remember, it doesn't matter what, you don't have to look nice all the time. Go ahead.
Right.
A lot of my gigs is because I was making facial expressions.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yes.
But whenever they give you the old give me sad, happy, surprise, I'm always like, I it looks like I'm about to pass gas. I mean,
Right. Right.
and then lastly, as like even child actors just blow me away because they're so free and
Yeah.
they're not afraid to do things. They're just being them, aren't they? They don't know any better. I know that movie, The Impossible, with Tom Holland and Ewan McGregor. It was about the tsunami. My God,
Yes.
that was the movie that trained or helped me train to cry. I cry every time I see the darn thing. I know that movie, but I
Right.
cry every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually used that movie to kind of like when train my crying kind of technique. Like I can cry in a heartbeat now. I literally don't even, you can just tell me the story, a line.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me a line. I'll make up my story. I need about 10 seconds,
Wow.
15 seconds, and I can be there. I'm empathetic to copy also, which is what I read is what I believe, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
there,
And
which is weird.
that's totally connecting then to the copy, and that's huge. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like the big, even in voiceover, that's the main thing, you connecting,
Connecting to
right?
copy. Is
And
that what
then
it is?
meaning. What's the meaning? Like not just reading the
Yeah.
words, and that's something that you really is not an easy thing to do.
I like how I like how you just said that the meaning because it's very important to be able to dissect the script,
Mm-hmm. Right.
to know
Right.
what they're talking about, to know what they're going for. Because usually we only are giving a tidbit of, we're like given a couple lines. We have no idea what happens in the little short story, blah, blah, blah. This
Mm-hmm.
is your character. You want to get hired for what? Who is he? We have
Right.
no care. Who is he?
Right.
So you have to use whatever you give and just kind of play on that. And I kind of look to myself as how would I react to it? And then the voice comes into play. How would I say, like, get out of here? Would I say, get out of here? Or would I say, get out of here? You
Right.
know? Or would I use an accent? Get out of here.
Right.
You know? I turned into my dad. It's weird, but it
Right.
happens. And then you just play with it.
Yeah.
So it's funny how people ask me a lot of, like, how do I do it? I get a lot
Right.
of questions on techniques and stuff, and
Right.
how do I book this and that. So
Well, then that leads me to my other question, which is my final question before my signature question.
sure.
Did you ever, because I learned a lot from you and I said this already, and people are always asking, I swear when I'm with you and we're in a crowd of actors, it's Lorenzo, question, question, question. And you're so giving with what you tell, you really are. I don't know what's going on in your head at the moment, but you're so giving. And but did you ever consider teaching?
Teaching acting?
Teaching, yeah, teaching
Wow.
acting and techniques and whatever, and actually setting up a teaching rather than just giving your information to crowds.
Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I have been asked many, many times, more so in the last 5 years, just because I think people can see that I work a lot more. It because the things that I do are airing more. They're not just industrials that you don't see. You know.
Right.
um, I have been asked so many times, but I tell everybody, just ask me whatever you want. I'll just tell you. Just I even tell people I'll Zoom with you. We'll Zoom for free for 45 minutes. Yeah, let's just I'll tell you what you want to know. If you want to do it again, we'll do it again. To me, I always say, and they always say, what can I do for you? I said, book something. I'll be happy if you book something.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had this imposter syndrome of, since I didn't go to school for theater or ever take an improv class, never, ever taken any classes. Everything I've learned literally because I've been booked already,
Mm-hmm.
like on set doing it. And that is the best learning, I tell you. When
I was
they
gonna
say,
say that's the
yeah,
best experience. That's the best, more than going to school for something. The
yeah,
actual real life
yes.
events of that.
But it takes you to learn how to do it, because the director will say, let's try it this way. All I say is, sure. Do I
Right.
know what I'm about to do? And before he says action in 2 seconds,
Yes.
not really.
Can I tell you, I
But
learned, you have
yeah,
always said to me, I got Lorenzo in my brain, just say yes. Just say yes. Because I would
yeah,
overthink everything. You'd be like, just say yes.
yeah,
And just do
yeah.
it.
So now I say copy instead of just say yes. I say copy, copy, copy. I try to be a little bit more intelligent. You copy that, gotcha. Copy that. But the on the spot learning was the funnest thing, and so nerve wracking. And I was so proud that I was able to do it. But I did accept. I'm done being having that imposter syndrome of, oh geez, I don't deserve this recognition, or I didn't, gosh, I can't talk about this job because my friend didn't get this job, or I worked so much. Why am I feeling bad that I worked so much?
Right.
I
Right.
said I should celebrate this stuff. And then that's why I never wanted to, like, teach for money. How's that? I wanted to just tell them what I wanted to tell them
Mm-hmm.
and try it. And I hope it works. I get jazzed when it does
Right.
because it worked for me. That's all I know. No one
Mhm.
told me how to do it. I'm just telling you what I did, and hopefully it works for you.
Right.
So yes, I've been asked a million and one times to teach. Would I ever teach? I think it would be fun,
Yeah.
actually,
I think you
because
should
I
do
do
that.
enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. So
Yeah.
maybe you can, like, maybe adapt this podcast to maybe a group chat. And
Yeah.
and that's what
I honestly, I swear, Lorenzo, all you would have to do is put out there, hey, I'm going to do a class on, blah, blah, blah. And we can have, you could even do a first, like, free 20-minute or something. You know what I mean? Just jump in and this might be a class. I think
if
so
you
many
set it,
people.
and if you
Yeah.
set it up,
All
we'll
right.
do it.
All right.
I'm
That's my
not kidding
job.
you.
That's my job.
I'm not
Okay.
kidding you.
I'm going to work on that then, Lorenzo. It's going to be easy work.
Sure.
All right. So, going from this,
Oh
I'm going to go to
boy.
my signature question. I love this question because I'm a bbig believer
Question.
in, like, divine intervention and all that kind of stuff. And I know you're on the same page with divine intervention. So share a moment, okay, in your life or career where you a moment of resilience, divine intervention, or a time you had
Lord,
to pivot.
pivot. A time in had to pivot, divine intervention, a moment in my life that has pretty much changed. Well, goodness Lord, have mercy. Um, no one can see us right now, Anne.
Right.
This is a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually sitting in the hospital.
You're amazing. Take all the time you need.
Uh, I've been sick for a while, but unknowingly,
Mhm.
this is all a surprise.
Yep.
Everybody that's talked to me in the past couple of months knows that they thought I had asthma, short of breath, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it took a turn, and I was immediately taken. I need a heart transplant,
Yeah. Which was a shocker.
which was a shocker.
A complete shocker.
Yeah. So, unbeknownst to me, my heart was beating way too fast, and it's damaged. You know, I couldn't believe it. I was playing tennis last summer.
I was
Uh,
with you
I
right before
yeah,
this. This
we're on a
Lorenzo.
shoot. We're on
Lorenzo.
a shoot. I was dancing up a storm. And the funny thing,
Lorenzo. I think
even
about it.
prior to that, I was on even on another shoot, and the commercial is going to air literally in like
Oh
a
my
week and
God.
a half. It's a big one, and I am dancing like a fool,
Oh my gosh.
and you would never know that I'm sick, but it just, thank goodness
Oh,
that I did have this kind of shortness of breath, or else I would have never gone to the doctor. To me, I've always been checked out to be healthy.
right.
I was just
Right.
chunky monkey. I had a little weight I could lose, no problem. I was losing the weight, and guess what? All of a sudden, I gained weight like almost instantly.
Okay.
When I say instantly, I'm talking within a couple days. It was water weight, and it's a sure sign of something wrong. But
Yeah.
so I am on the wish list for a new heart, and
Only you, Lorenzo. Oh my
I'm
God.
I'm happy. There's a plan.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I I'm already planning what I'm doing when I'm out of here.
Yes.
I'm already like, okay, a year will pass. I think I might, do a 5K marathon. I've never done a marathon. I'm lying.
Well,
I'm gonna.
now's the time you're
I'll
going
take a
to.
yeah. I'll take a pickleball.
Uh,
Something else. Or I already have. I can't wait to mow the lawn.
The little
Things
things.
that I'm
Yes.
telling you, and not to make light of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was given a Dunkin' Donuts donut the other day.
Yeah.
The nurse left me. I bawled.
Oh, because you're like, oh my God.
It's so
Yes.
ridiculous.
No,
I
it's
was like, oh
not.
my God. And it was chocolate.
It's
I
not.
was like, I love chocolate. I was laughing and crying at the same
Yes.
time. I said, wow. I said, dang it. I don't get bummed. It's almost like I just have to get through this.
Right.
I think that since it's funny, I'm only crying because I'm having to talk about it. I
Yeah.
don't cry about it unless someone is talking to me. Like I
Mhm.
don't woe is me at all.
Right.
I'm busy. I'm busy thinking positively. I'm busy kind of getting things in order. I'm thinking of the future.
Mhm.
Um, I feel more sad for the people who hear about it.
Because it's a shocker. It's a shocker. And every time you say it, when you said it to me, I didn't know what you were going to say. Let's just say that. And then,
You probably said, I need money for an Uber or something.
yeah, no, but I knew it was going to be something because I was with you at that shoot. And then
Yeah,
when you said it was a health thing, I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God, what is it? And actually, this is a plan. So you know what I mean?
yes,
I was not thankful, but I was like, okay,
yeah,
so there's a plan here. And this is,
yeah,
but I never expected you to say you were on
no,
the list for a heart,
yeah.
So,
It's a shock. It's so weird, but
yeah.
like you said, it's a plan, and now I'm looking forward to a purpose after
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just going to recover and that's it. Thank you, everybody. I would, I want to be there for other people in the same boat,
Absolutely.
and do whatever I can. If not talk to
Mhm.
them, or pop
Yeah.
in, or just, just see what I can do.
Yeah. So,
to help.
there's a reason for everything, even good, bad, and anything, whatever's happening. There's so many things. And talk about like divine intervention was the fact that I was like, you were on my list. I had asked you when I started the podcast to be one of my guests. And then I was like, okay, so we'll wait till you're done. You're like, well, why not do it now? And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Lorenzo, let's do it
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like, there is a reason and a purpose to everything. And knowing you, this is going to be something that catapults into something unbelievable, to help other
uh,
people or to
thank you,
whatever.
thank
So
you.
I'm so thankful to get to do this with you today, but I want you to close us out
Yes.
with one of your favorite quotes if you've got one handy.
Oh my gosh, I have to, did I write it down? I did write, my memory is going. It's awful. I had a couple quotes. I had one that my dad gave me. My dad gave me this card before, and I had it ever since I was little. Well, not little, I guess 16. And then there was another quote I heard, but literally, it's funny. Gordon Ramsay
Yeah.
just recently said this. Kind of misquoted, but I found the true quote. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain.
I love
I love that.
that's one of my favorites too. I love it.
Really?
Yes, I love
Vivian Green.
it.
Vivian Green wrote
I
that.
yes, I posted that a few times over
Really?
the years. I love that one, and it's so
Oh, that's
true.
funny.
It's so true. It's not, and look at you are definitely not just waiting for the storm to pass. Okay, you are
Yeah,
dancing in the rain, and
yeah,
you have always done that for as long as I know
yeah,
you, and I think it's it really seriously. And this is just another one of those storms, and you're gonna be unbelievable during it, obviously, because we're doing this
yeah.
podcast while you're sitting in the hospital. Thank you so much. How can people find you? I'm going to post it as well in the show notes, but Instagram, what?
Instagram,
Okay.
at roll in a benzo, but you can post it. Lorenzo rolling in a benzo. But I also have TikTok and Facebook, but Instagram, roll in a benzo. But I had a blast, I have to tell
Oh,
you.
me too. This was awesome.
Yeah, what people don't know out in the interwebs, this took 3 days. No, just kidding. It was great. You know why? Because we could talk about everything.
We can.
We can
We
just keep
we
going
talked
and
our
going
yeah,
and going.
we could do it. We talk 5 hours in the car nonstop. We can talk
Oh
for
my
everything. So,
gosh.
well, anyway, Lorenzo, I
Thank
will
you.
see you and talk to you soon.
Yes. And I love this podcast. Time to elevate, folks. Please listen in on Spotify and listen to that lovely song by Victoria Purdy. My goodness, it makes me cry a little bit, but every time I hear it,
I know.
it's great.
Beautiful. And she loves you. She sends her love. And the other two kids too. They're always asking about you.
Yeah.
So
Hugs and kisses to the kids. Yeah, they're awesome. Good job, Mama.
Life gets tough, and I know it's hard to cope with the unknown. For all of us, I know it'd be easy if we were perfect, but we're not. So we go to find our faith, to find our hope. It all begins with looking up. It all begins with you. It's time to